In the latest episode of Moonshiners, Season 14, Episode 13, tensions run high as Tickle and the Laws grapple with the challenges of producing a unique sorghum-based liquor. Mike and Jerry also try their hand at making alcohol-based kombucha for a hippie commune. In last week's episode, Tickle and the Laws received free sorghum and became excited about the potential profit increase. During the episode, the late Kenny Law noted an unusual aroma emanating from the sorghum mash, raising concerns about the final product's marketability. Upon distillation, Henry Law observed that while the taste was unconventional, it wasn't necessarily unpleasant. However, Tickle remained apprehensive about consumer acceptance of the distinct flavor profile. Determined to enhance the liquor's appeal, Tickle took a bold step by incorporating pumpkins from his wife's garden, initially destined for their restaurant. He grabbed several from a truck, seemingly without telling his wife, and they hoped to mash in the pumpkin to make a more commercially appealing liquor. This creative infusion aimed to balance the sorghum's unique taste, resulting in a product they believed would resonate better with customers. Meanwhile, in another part of the Appalachian region, moonshiners Mike and Jerry faced their own set of challenges. After a natural disaster destroyed their previous still site, the duo received an order from a local commune for 75 gallons of hard kombucha, priced at $5 per pint. Unfamiliar with the intricacies of kombucha production, they sought guidance from Mike's friend, Red, who introduced them to the concept of SCOBI, a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast essential for fermentation. Red emphasized the importance of maintaining alcohol content below 7% to preserve the SCOBI's viability. Despite initial reservations about kombucha's appearance, Mike developed a taste for the beverage. With Red's assistance, they commenced the brewing process, noting that kombucha required less sugar compared to traditional moonshine. However, an unexpected challenge arose when their initial distillation yielded a dark-colored liquor, likely due to the tea's influence. To rectify this, they implemented an additional filtration system, successfully producing 40 gallons of tea-infused liquor. Observing the growth of the SCOBI, Mike was reassured of the fermentation's progress. After fortifying the kombucha with alcohol, the final product met their quality standards, leaving both Mike and Jerry satisfied with their innovative venture. Moonshiners airs Tuesdays at 9/8 on Discovery. Moonshiners Season 14, Episode 13. Tickle reinvents sorghum liquor, while Mike and Jerry make hard kombucha. Episode title: Sorghum Revolution and Fermented Innovation. Smell of thick, earthy corn liquor fills the air, signaling yet another chapter in the ever-evolving world of moonshine on Moonshiners. In this high-stakes episode, the legendary Tickle is back at it again, pushing boundaries and taking risks that could revolutionize the craft of moonshining. Meanwhile, the inventive duo of Mike and Jerry is experimenting with something entirely new, hard kombucha. From old-school methods to cutting-edge techniques, this episode is full of surprises. Opening scene: A new dawn in the shining world. The episode opens with a dramatic aerial shot of the Appalachian Mountains, the natural backdrop where the moonshine tradition has been passed down through generations. The camera zooms in on a secluded cabin in the woods where Tickle is setting up an elaborate still. This time, however, he's not using the usual corn, barley, or even rye. No, Tickle is on a mission to reinvent sorghum liquor, something the moonshining community hasn't seen much of before. Tickle stands in front of his makeshift setup, a gleam of determination in his eyes. He has been studying ancient recipes, talking to local farmers, and experimenting with new mash techniques. The sorghum, often overlooked by many distillers, has a deep, rich history. In parts of the South, It was once a go-to grain for making syrup and liquor during times when corn was scarce. But Tickle's not just looking to replicate the past. He's looking to bring it into the future. I want to bring sorghum back. This grain has got a flavor profile that no one's even tried to explore properly. It's time to change the game. Tickle says to the camera as he adjusts his overalls and prepares to heat the mash. His goal? To create a refined, high-quality liquor with sorghum that rivals even the most popular whiskeys and rums. He's combining the sweet, syrupy qualities of the grain with the complex fermentation process to bring out an entirely new flavor. But there's a catch. No one has really done it before, and Tickle's confidence is matched only by the uncertainty of the outcome. Still, if anyone can pull it off, it's Tickle. Mike and Jerry's Kombucha dreamers, the camera shifts to another part of the mountains. We meet up with Mike and Jerry, who are ready to make, but not in the traditional way. Instead of the usual hard liquor, the pair is venturing into the world of fermented beverages, specifically hard kombucha. The rise in popularity of this low-alcohol, probiotic-infused drink has taken the world by storm, but it's still relatively new to the moonshine scene. Mike, ever the entrepreneur, has been researching the fermentation process for kombucha, noting its health benefits and growing popularity among younger crowds. With Jerry's knowledge of brewing, they've decided to combine their skills and attempt something revolutionary. Hard kombucha that's more than just a trendy health drink. It's a liquor-infused, flavorful concoction that could fill a niche in the booming craft beverage market. "We've been distilling spirits for years," says Mike. "But this is a new frontier. Kombucha, but with a little kick. Who wouldn't want to try that?" Jerry adds, "It's all about balance. The fermentation has to be just right, and the alcohol content can't overwhelm the flavors. We're aiming for something smooth, refreshing, and just strong enough to give you a buzz." Duo starts by preparing the base of the kombucha, a mixture of tea and sugar, then adding the SCOBI, symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. However, their twist comes next. After the fermentation process begins, they'll add alcohol, mixing it into the kombucha to create a drink with a light, fizzy texture and a higher ABV than a typical kombucha. As they work, Mike and Jerry are visibly excited. This isn't just a fun experiment, it's a passion project. Kombucha's tangy, slightly sour flavor is an unusual base for alcohol, and they're eager to see how it turns out. "I think this could be the next big thing," Mike muses, carefully observing the brewing process. "You've got the whole health-conscious crowd, but with the alcohol infusion, it's like the best of both worlds. But it's not without risks. The fermentation process must be handled with precision, and adding alcohol can change the balance of flavors." The pair are both excited and nervous as they move forward with the brewing, knowing that if this experiment works, it could set a new trend in the moonshine industry. Tickle's sorghum journey back with Tickle. The atmosphere is tense. He's ready to begin the fermentation process on his sorghum mash, but he's not sure if his innovation will be successful. Tickle walks the camera through his steps, explaining how sorghum requires a different kind of treatment than corn or barley to achieve the best results. The first thing is to get the grain to break down, release those sugars. Sorghum's got a thick husk, so I've got to crush it real good. Then, I'll add yeast to get it fermenting. Tickle's setup is simple, but efficient. He's using a traditional copper still, which has been known to produce a smoother, more refined liquor. As he works, he talks about how this experiment could change the way the region views sorghum as a base for spirits. There's a lot of potential in sorghum that people haven't tapped into yet. It's sweeter than most grains, but with the right technique you can get a real depth of flavor, kinda like a rum, but smoother. If it works, this could really take off. With the mash fermenting, Tickle sets up his still and prepares to distill. He knows that every step in the process is critical, and there's a sense of excitement building. Could this new take on sorghum be the next big thing in moonshine? The still begins to heat up, and Tickle adds a bit of water to regulate the temperature. The first trickle of liquid pours from the still, and the rich aroma of sorghum liquor fills the air. Tickle collects the first distillate into a jar and inspects the clarity and scent. "This is the stuff right here," he says with a satisfied grin. "I can already tell. It's smooth, got a nice sweetness to it. This could really set a new standard." The Kombucha taste test back in Mike and Jerry's setup. The Kombucha fermentation process has progressed. They've added the alcohol and now the drink is fermenting into its final form. The moment of truth arrives as they bottle the hard kombucha and prepare to taste test the first batch. "This is it," Mike says, popping the top off one of the bottles. "Let's see if this is something people are actually going to drink." The liquid pours into glasses, its cloudy texture swirling as it fizzes. The smell is refreshing, with a slightly fruity, herbal aroma. The taste is unique. A tangy, slightly sour flavor of traditional kombucha, but with the added kick of alcohol. Jerry takes a sip and nods in approval. It's got that classic kombucha bite, but with a smooth finish. Not too strong, but definitely packs a punch. Mike takes a sip as well and grins. "I think we've got something here. People are gonna love this." They high-five, excited that their experiment has paid off. The kombucha tastes as good as they hoped, and with the alcohol infusion, it's something that could appeal.